Okay, doctrine of the essence of God. Very important. After all, who do we have a relationship with it? With who are we supposed to fall in love with more every day? God. He's the one who created us. We have to know about his essence. And may I recommend something to you? May I recommend something to you? Yes? I recommend to you to not tune out every time you hear about the essence of God. And every time you hear about the attributes of God and this and that, do not tune out. We tend to do this in our sin nature. We tune out subconsciously many times. Do not do that. Why? Because the person who you're having a relationship with is God. In order to reach gate 5 of the divine power sphere, personal love for God the Father, what do you have to know? Something about the essence of God. As you know more about the essence of God, you develop spiritual self-esteem. This spiritual self-esteem is your confidence in the attributes of God. But how can you have confidence in the attributes of God if you are not paying attention to the essence of God? May I remind you that this spiritual self-esteem, it belongs to you. When you obtain it, you enjoy, you are a beneficiary of this extraordinary type of confidence, spiritual self-esteem. I mean, it's literally yours. This trust, this motivational virtue, this personal love for God is it's a confidence in his essence and his attributes. But again, how can you reach that point if you are going to be shunning, if you're going to be distracted or tune out the moment you hear about the essence of God? It's going to sound technical, but just be mulling it over and ask God. Don't worry. And if you're driving someday and you remember a few of these points, think them over. Use 1 John 1:9 and talk them over with God. The doctrine of divine essence. And we've gone over the essence box before. We've seen the essence box right here. Let me put it to the side. But we're going to have to already graduate a little bit from the essence box. And the essence box was beautiful, let me tell you. It helped us out so much. We have sovereignty, we have righteousness, we have justice, we have love, eternal life, omniscience, omnipotence, omnipresence, immutability, veracity, truth. So, and what do we see here? We know that the righteousness and justice form the holiness of God. The righteousness guards the justice. So righteousness is the principle. Justice is the function of that principle. Righteousness says, justice does. What the righteousness of God demands, the justice of God executes. Therefore, we can conclude that the one who guards the justice, making sure that it does not go unjust or make any unjust decisions, is the righteousness of God. Who guards all the essence of God? It is the justice of God that guards all of these, making sure that none of these attributes are used unjustly. And what makes sure? Which one of these makes sure that integrity remains integrity? That the righteousness of God guards justice, and the justice of God guards all the rest of the attributes? The love of God. He loves righteousness so much that he's not going to change. He's going to remain immutable forever. This is why we have immutability. He loves righteousness and justice so much that he's not ever going to change. Impossible. I mean, he can. He's omnipotent. He can do anything. But he's not, because of fluff. This is the one that keeps the consistency. This is the one that guards everything else. This is the one that keeps him immutable. Okay, so we'll go over this again, but let us go over our doctrine. I don't know how long we're going to be here. I'm going to read it a little bit fast if I can. Doctrine of the essence of God. So I'm already messing up. Orthodox theology divides God's attributes into two categories: the absolutes and the relative. So the relatives, we're not talking about relative in the sense that they are less than the attributes, rather that they are relative in relationship with creation, relationship with humankind. Okay? So that's why I put relative not in the character of God, but simply relate to something connected to mankind. Okay. So we have the absolutes and the relatives. The absolute attributes are 3: spirituality, infinity, and perfection. Under spirituality, the spirituality of God, we have what? 2 things: the life of God and the personality of God. God has always lived. He was never created. He's never going to die. He is self-existent, unsustained by anyone, unsustained by himself. He has always had life. Under the personality of God, he is a person, and he recognizes himself as a person. We all are personalities, humans. We have personalities, and that involves volition. That involves decision making, and the results of all those decisions that we make, that at the end make our own selves. The personality of God, he does have volition. He has sovereignty. He has self-determination. He does have self-consciousness. He is very aware of himself. So these are the absolutes, remember. These are the absolutes right now. Under the principle of infinity, what includes God's self-existence, which we've seen in his name, Jehovah, self-existence. He's the one that has always existed. Immutability, unchangeability. Infinity and immutability always go together. And also, there's a third factor here, the unity of attributes. All his perfections, all the attributes, they are united. And this is part of infinity. They're all united. Under the concept of perfection, what do we have? There is truth, love, and integrity. Later on, we're going to put love and integrity together, for love is the integrity of God. You cannot separate love from righteousness and justice. If you think you can love without the capacity, first of all, to love, you're out of your mind. If you think you can love without the capacity, which is righteousness and justice, virtue, excuse me, you're out of your mind. You don't have to go too far to see what personal love is like, personal love without virtue. See it between a father and a son. See it between two sisters, two brothers, and it is amor de indios, or whatever you want to call it. It is a nasty love. And they are hugging themselves and all this, but whenever something goes bad, they hate each other. And the sisters that hate each other, but they cannot live without each other, and when everything's going all right, they love each other and they're calling each other nice names. But once, the moment anything goes wrong, they completely hate each other. See, it's in the woman who really admires a man, and she appreciates him, and he is everything that she's always wanted, but he does not want her. He does not want her love. He does not give her the attention that she thinks she deserves from him. And so, to the extent that she appreciates him and admires him, to that extent she's going to hate him. Personal love has no virtue. Oh, she doesn't have to hate him. If she has virtue, she won't hate him. She'll accept reality and move on. So, the reason why I say that love and integrity, they cannot be separated. Love and righteousness and justice and truth can never, ever, ever be separated. They go together. Okay. Going over here, a few explanations. God has life. Talking about the life of God here under spirituality. God has life. He has always lived. He will always live. All life is from God, but not of God. He is a person, and personality connotes self-consciousness and self-determination. Self-determination is volition. Remember that. His sovereignty. Sovereignty is very much part of his personality. Self-consciousness, he is very much aware of himself. He has knowledge about himself. He knows who he is. He recognizes who he is. He recognizes his glory. And he claims his glory in the interest of absolute truth. He does not go around, oh, I'm not that glory. Oh, shucks, it's not that much. Oh, I'm not that great. Don't worry. He moves aside all the BS and he says, yes, I am glory. I am perfection. I am absolute righteousness, justice, absolute love. There never was a time when he was not a person, a personality. Never a time when he didn't exist. He's always existed. He recognizes himself as a person, and as such, he always acts rationally. Which means, if you act rationally, you have to be a thinker. You have to think. By the way, I'm quoting this almost verbatim from my pastor. And if I switch a few little things here and there, you might notice if you've studied under him. But I cannot do any better than this. I'm still grasping onto this. If I add anything else, it's because I finally learned something new aside from it. To act rationally, he must be able to think. I'll mention that. He thinks in terms of truth, and truth is Bible doctrine. He is truth. And it never changes. Immutability working together with truth. And that's because God is infinite personality. The infinity has immutability. Because he's infinite, his truth, infinity, his truth never changes. Perfection and self-determination characterize both his purpose, his design, and his execution. So we have here two parts. The perfection of God, and here the first part, the spirituality of God, volition, self-determination. So these two characterize both his purpose, his design, and his execution, and everything is perfect. Let me tell you, if you have not seen how perfect his plan is, you still must have something to learn about his essence. Do not confuse our own failures and our own frailties and our own sin nature activity with what God has provided. We're the ones who do not know how to exploit his provision. Therefore, infinity becomes a major issue. God is infinite. This means God is without boundaries, without limitations, and he unites in himself those perfections that belong to his person and his character. So all those attributes are united in him under the concept of infinity. God cannot be complicated with ignorance nor absurdities. God cannot sin. He cannot tempt. He cannot solicit to sin, to evil, nor to human good. God sovereignly, now we have here his self-determination, his volition. God sovereignly chooses to limit his power at certain times. Example, the hypostatic union. This is where he limited the deity of God the Son, so that his humanity could function and match that glory. God's infinity is intensive rather than extensive. In other words, it does not extend, it does not lose its power. And instead, everywhere it's present, it has equally intensive power. He has infinite energy and infinite power. Infinity characterizes everything that God does. His love, his holiness, the dissemination of truth. Everything he does is accomplished under the principle of infinity, so that absolute authority and absolute thoughts emanate from absolute infinity. The divine motive is, now this is what unites all the attributes. If you wanted to know how it does the unity of all attributes fall under infinity, well, the divine motive is to do everything for his glory. Therefore, he uses all his attributes for his glory. And that is what unites all his attributes. That is the divine motive, to which God has an eternal right. God recognizes his glory. Everything about the attributes of God relate to glory. For this, all creatures exist. All creatures exist as an extension of the protocol, the policy, the plan of God related to his glory. And when we tap this protocol system, life becomes wonderful. But when we ignore it, for us, life is horrible. It's miserable. It's wretched.